Hey, you guys, it's Debbie from my Vagabond Style, and I am here today interviewing and chatting with one of my friends, and it's Pam from Tattered Paper and Lace. Super excited to have you meet her. But first, I'm just going to tell you that we're going to review some of the Margarete Miller Collage Weekly Planner challenges for 2023. And we're just going to kind of chat and hang out, which is so fun. So let me add her. There she
Hello.
is.
Hi.
Hi, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I
You're
appreciate it
welcome.
so much. I really appreciate you doing this. This is really fun, and
Well,
and now people know what I look like.
exactly. I was just in the green room with Pam, and we were chatting about that this is her first time actually being on camera.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
that's exciting.
It is exciting. I'm a star.
Yes, yes, you're a YouTube star.
How about that?
So, do you want to tell us a little bit where you're located and a little bit about yourself?
Sure.
Whatever you want to share.
Huh? Whatever I want to share. Well, I do want to tell you my journey to
Yes.
where I am today. Uh, I'm in Georgia. I am a Georgian native, and we live about 50 miles south of Atlanta. And I started scrapbooking in '94, way back.
Wow.
I have like 20 scrapbooks completed. And then I went from paper scrapbooking to digital because it was just taking too long. And so I just went to digital, and then I quit doing that and started making mini journals. And I had an Etsy store back in that day, which was early 2000s, I guess. And I sold a few that way. Didn't do a YouTube. I started my YouTube in September of 21. I think that's correct. Yes. And I always thought I wanted to do it because I thought, well, I've got a lot of ideas. And then when I started YouTube, I'm going, what ideas did I have? So it's been an interesting journey for me, but I've enjoyed it. And then in 2014, 15, I started making journals, and I just made very simple ones. And then that grew. And then I said, okay, I need to do a YouTube so I can put these in Etsy so I can sell these. Because if I just keep making them and don't sell them, what am I going to do with them? And my family absolutely has no interest really in what I do. So it's not like I can give it because they don't get it. When I give it to them, they don't get it. So
Oh, and there's nothing worse than giving something that you put
somebody,
your
some,
heart and soul into and spent so many hours on, and then you
they don't,
know that if they don't appreciate it,
they
they'll
don't
probably
get it.
never use it.
Yeah, and that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. They don't get it, but and I'm okay with that
Yeah,
because
you just don't want to give them the stuff that you work
I
so
just don't want
hard
to
on.
give it to them if they don't want it. So anyway, so I started with journaling then, and I gave up all the scrapbooking. I don't do that anymore, and I don't make many albums anymore. I just do the journaling, and then I started in 2017. I came across Margarete Miller. In
Okay, that was one of the questions I was going to ask you, like,
is
how did you discover
how
Marguerite
I
Miller?
discovered. I don't remember how she used to have a Facebook group. I don't remember how I found her in Facebook, except I am a member of several junk journaling groups, and I think I must have discovered her from that.
Hmm.
But I joined her Facebook group, and back in that day, she was just starting out as a collage artist and showing her work and giving you tips and ideas. And so she created this Facebook community. And she did, most people don't know this, I don't think. She did the 52-week collage challenge back then in 2017, but it was just through her Facebook group. So, and she would post them every week. She would say, this would be the new post for.
How many people do you think participated in that back then?
I have absolutely no idea. I
Hmm.
really,
Did you guys post your work on
we
there?
posted our work. We would do the collage and post our work, and then people would comment on it. It was really fun.
Uh-huh.
It was really fun. And I'll show you that I started that with, um, I don't, there it is. This is my collage.
Oh, okay, your Rolodex.
I did the Rolodex. So this is all from 2017 through 2020.
Oh, that's fun.
I
Can I
did
see
not
one of
do
those?
them. I didn't do every week. In 2017, I did every week, but after that, I just did it sporadic.
Can I see one of those
Oh,
little
sure.
guys?
Yes, yes, yes. Let me pick a good one. Well, I like this one. This is one that I thought was kind of fun. I liked this one. So this is one. Can you
Okay,
see
hold
that?
it up a little closer. Oop,
Oh,
there you go. Oh, that's neat.
there you go.
It's
So this is,
amazing to me that you can get a whole collage on a tiny little page.
it's so fun. This is more fun to me.
Really?
I like
I'm gonna have
little.
to, I'm gonna
Isn't
have to
that
give that a
crazy?
try.
But it's
You
fun.
know
This
what?
is
Let me hang on real quick. Let me
sure.
do this. That way people can see it a little better.
Is
There we
that,
go.
yeah, there we go. That's a 3x5.
Okay.
And I loved doing these. And just to give you an idea of, like, here's another one that's kind of fun and different. And they're simple, but and I wrote the prompts on the back because she did not, there we go.
Yeah, a
She
little
did not,
closer.
she did not print.
Oh, that's good.
There we go. She did not print out like she does today. You couldn't print it out. She just posted it
Mhm.
and you wrote them down and then you did your collage. So I just wrote the prompts on the back.
I love that. I actually have an old Rolodex. I should do. Oh, yeah, I need
You
to
should
start
do
another
it.
project.
It's really fun. It is. There was let me find one of the earlier
Oh,
ones. If you don't, if I'm not taking too much time. Like I liked this one also,
oh, that's good. I love bees.
and they're fun. And there's still 6 prompts. It's still 6 prompts on there, and I like to do all 6 prompts.
Uh-huh.
So they're there, and so like I may have said on some of my videos, so I went from the 3x5 Rolodex to last year's, and I didn't do 21. So I didn't do from
Okay.
20 until 22. I didn't do any of the Margarete Miller collages. And 2020 is when I believe she changed her platform from Facebook to another platform, which I can't recall the name
Is
of.
that when she started selling the prompts, right?
Yes, yes. And it's called the Collage Collaborative, I believe is the name of it.
Uh-huh.
And that's where she actually had grown her business to the point where she could make money. Or she was charging then because she would organize swaps and it would take lots of time because there would be hundreds of postcards or whatever coming her way, and she would divvy them out and send them out. So that's a lot of work, and she still does that, but she charges a little bit to do that now. And then she also has her publications that she does. And I have her very first publication was a little 4x4 size, and I think it had 12 pages of her artwork. It was just her different collages, and I bought that, and that was when she was still on Facebook.
Okay.
So now she's got more publications, and she did a deck of cards that had prompts on it, so you could buy that and do your own prompts.
Why do you think you enjoy the prompts? Or do you enjoy more creating on your own?
It's really weird because I feel like I'm not as creative as some people, because once I've done something, if I make a journal, I have to take a break. I have to do a week or so break and not do anything, because it's like I've drained everything I had for that moment.
Yeah,
So
prompts make it a little easier for sure.
Prompts make that easier because it gives me a direction to go. Now I do like to do collages, and I have a journal that I do random collages. None of them are related in any shape or form. They're just random, because I did get inspired to use this, and I like to use things that I enjoy looking at. So when I do a collage that is not with prompts, it's something caught my interest, and I go, I want to use that in a collage, and then I figure out what to do beyond that.
Have you found that maybe sometimes, like, you get to where you're like, oh, this just does not work on the collage. Like, you've created something, you love it, but you have one more element that you need to put in to meet the prompts?
And that I don't feel compelled to use it.
Oh, I love that.
I
Break
don't.
the rules, girl.
Because to me, and I think this may have come from the fact that on the Facebook group, it was a little more, I don't know, I won't say relaxed, but it was a little more
Flexible.
less intense, maybe less
Mhm.
important. I like to use all 6 if I can. I
Me
do like
too.
to relate. So if one just absolutely doesn't relate or can't even make it be put on there and it look right, then I don't use it and I don't care. Also, some YouTubers that I watch, they go, well, I think I'm taking a little bit of license here for making this be this. And I'm going, you know what? It really, to me, the prompts really are just to awaken your brain to
Yes, I think so too. And I think sometimes a lot of us get hung up on like, oh, it's too far of a stretch to
and yes,
make
and they
that work. But
wrap up in it has to be this. Well, everything, all the prompts are interpretive and they are interpreted the way you want them to be, not
yeah,
the way not what you think somebody else thinks it should be. It is what we
right.
say. And so
Absolutely.
if it's very loosely related, I'm okay with that too.
Yes, I
But
think
I hated that people think that it has to be this thing, like the one I just did, which I think you've posted, but I've not gone back
oh
to
yeah.
on the one I did today
Uh-huh.
that I posted today. As soon as I saw the word fins, I was not going to do a fish.
Oh, I
When
love
everybody
it.
does a fish, I am not doing a fish. So I got to thinking about what it has fins. And my husband is a car person. So
Uh-huh.
that's just where my mind went. And I said, okay. So then I was showing him pictures now. This one has a fin, right? And this one has a fin, right?
Yes,
So I wanted to have
I told you I looked for a fin on the comment. I looked for a car with a fin and it just didn't
yeah,
work out with what I was doing, but I loved that you used that because that's what I was looking for.
yeah, because that's something different. I like to try. I like to think if I'm going to be specific about the prompt, I want to think of something that
Mhm.
different that nobody else has. It doesn't always happen, but
Yeah.
I do like the prompts, and I do more collages with the prompts than without. So I have this one collage book that I just when I feel like it, and then I
Mhm.
have a Christmas collage book that I do things because I love Christmas. Christmas is
Uh-huh.
the holiday,
Yeah,
and
me too.
so I love Christmas things and cards and things, and so I have a Christmas collage journal that I just put Christmas stuff in when I
Mhm.
find something I like.
And how much time do you think on an average per week that you get to spend creating?
Well, I could almost every day be in my craft room, and I
Mhm.
am in there at some points in time every day. But like I said, I have to take a break. So when
Yeah.
I've done a collage, I got to take a break. I'm not this. I wish I was one of these people that the ideas just flow and flow and flow and flow. I'm going to tilt this up just a little bit. And I'm not that person. The ideas just don't flow that readily. I have
Mhm.
to take
Yeah, and I definitely go through kind of ebb and flow at times. Like sometimes I'm just like creating and creating, and then other times I'm like, I lost my mojo.
Yes. Well, and even on the prompts, I like at the beginning of the year, whenever I start these 52-week prompts, I try to do a whole bunch of them at one time.
Yeah.
So I don't have to do it every week. And
Uh-huh.
I do stay ahead pretty much. Not always, but pretty much ahead. Like the video I posted today, I did a week ago. So I try to stay
Yeah.
ahead. Um,
I did that. I got like one time I got 4 weeks ahead because we had so much going on. I was like, I'm
yes.
never going to be able to do this if I
And
don't get ahead.
if you don't get ahead. And
And it feels so good to have them all lined up, ready to
yes.
go.
Yes, it is. I love it. So at the beginning of this year, I remember I did 6 collages like in a week. And it was
Wow.
just like it's just like, oh wow, they just were flowing. It's just
Oh,
like,
that's
oh
so
yeah,
good.
see this and this, and then after that it was like, no, it was once a week for a while.
Yeah.
So I have these spurts. I like
A
this.
lot of times I like when I'm getting the process, like when I'm picking my prompts, I might have an idea of like something stood out to me.
Mhm.
So I'll write down what I kind of think I might want for that prompt.
That's a good idea. I don't write down. I just go looking, and this is how I start my process. When I look at the prompts, I look to see what thing on there, for instance, a receipt or graph paper or something like that, that I can make be my background. And that's where I start. I go, okay, this will be perfect for a background. I'll do that. If there's not anything that is a background, I have more trouble.
That's funny. Interesting that you start with the background. I don't know that I've ever started with the background.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I don't, it's just like I look to see what thing could be the background.
That never even crosses my mind. I love that we're like, it's so different for people.
It is. It is. And then I go from, so if it's a receipt or if it's ledger paper, those are always my background because they're an easy background.
Do you remember there's been a couple times where there's been so many prompts that have been like, I don't know if you call them inanimate objects, but it'd be like a receipt and like a repeating pattern. Like there was nothing like to grab the human element or anything. Do you remember those?
Yes.
Those were so hard for me.
I don't know if I find them hard. I don't like those as well because I like to use old photos. So I love the ones that need to have people in it because
no, but that's what I mean. The ones that don't have any people
are harder to do.
Are so much harder when
They're
it's
harder to do
like the repeating pattern. You know,
see, the repeating pattern will be my background.
Right, but if it was a receipt, a book page, you know, like it was continual stuff that it was like not very exciting.
Not very exciting, yes, but there is no reason you can't use all of those things and make your background or do whatever and then add a focal point. It doesn't say you only can use 6.
That's true.
You can do 10 things if you have 10 things you want to use.
Right.
So that's another thing I think people get trapped into. Oh, it's only 6. I can only do 6. I have to at least do 5. But you can leave out more if you want to.
I've had the prompt police after me in a couple of my videos.
Do what? Say that again.
The prompt police?
Yes, there are no prompt police.
But I've had one stop in and tell me that I did it wrong.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh,
well, then on your video, you need to say, I'm doing this because there are no prompt police.
I just say,
you are the
comments. Because what do you say, right? Like,
what do you say?
A comment's good for my analytics, so.
Yeah, well, there you go. And I would say, well, you know, I'm taking creative license at this point because that's what you're doing. And when I did I'm occasionally doing the crossword puzzle collage challenge.
Oh, right.
Barbie is hosting. That's
Amelia Earhart Designs. For those of you that don't know.
Designs. I am doing some of those, and I bought because I wanted to do the sewing ladies like she's doing because I have a lot of sewing patterns. I wanted a catalog, a desktop catalog that was sewn. So she found one for me, and I ordered it and got it. It was off of eBay. And when I got it and I used something out of it and made a collage, I had a commenter say, "Why are you cutting that up? Why don't you copy it and save that?" And I do copy some things, but that particular one there was 2 pages in the book that were exactly the same. So I cut one of them out because you didn't need to. That was exactly the same. And that's what I told her. But so I will cut those up because I didn't buy it to save it because nobody's going to want it. I don't think that's not something that anybody's going to want. Although I do have a hard time cutting it up.
Yeah.
And I have a hard time cutting up other things that are in good condition, that are still intact, books that are still intact. I have a hard time cutting those up because one day, if we cut all these books up, then one day there's not going to be any books for anybody to look at that, you know. But I think, okay, when I'm gone, and I don't have any children, so my niece and nephew would be the ones going through my stuff, right?
Right.
So I think about that. I'm going, when they're going through my stuff and cleaning out my house and probably having an estate sale, if not throwing it away, what things might they like to keep? what do I think they may at least look at and think is interesting? So I think about that
Mm-hmm.
because I I want people to know what life before us and our life and so forth was like.
Mm-hmm.
So, I have a hard time cutting up and tearing up and using books that are intact uh, and papers that are intact, but some of those papers, receipts and ledgers,
Yeah.
not necessarily. So, but I think about people not knowing what the past was like if everything's digital these days. Nobody
Right.
writes letters. Nobody even knows how to read a letter.
Yeah, and you think about like when this next generation, like they're not going to have these photos from like, I've got photos from my childhood and that. Are they going to have any of that?
They're not,
Because,
well, they'll be on their phone, and when their
but
phone dies,
you know how many pictures I've lost on my
on their
phone?
phone,
Yeah.
yes, I know, and I am a proponent of. I got to move to the center. Am I moving? Yeah, there we go. I am a proponent of printing your photos. I have a lot on my phone, but now instead of scrapbooking, I use a journal to put, and I do smaller prints. Like I have one of those little 2x3 printers that will print with.
Oh, I have one too. I need to bust it out. I haven't used it in years.
And I like that. We went to Alaska in 19 and we took photos, and I made an Alaskan journal before we went, and it was an oversized one.
Uh-huh.
And I took that with me, and I took the printer with me. I had
Oh
enough
my gosh,
paper
that's
with
great.
me. So I printed each day the pictures we did that day,
Uh-huh.
and then I put them in the journal. And so
I love
it's not
that.
like a scrapbook, but it's really a journal. So it's not as it's just an Alaska themed journal that I have pictures with little notes of
Got
what
your
was.
little glue stick with you and
I had my whole little. I mean, this was going to be really simple. It was not going to
yeah.
be. I had decorated pages ahead of time, and made the journal. So this was just to add pictures in, and the 2x3 worked fine. And you can still see them. I mean, still you can tell what's going on, and it jogs your memory as to what happened. And
What do you think about like, was it surprising to you that you could actually create with such minimal supplies? Like maybe not surprising, but like I really don't need all of this extra stuff all the time.
well, but see, I had already decorated the pages, so
So
there.
it was just a matter of throwing in the
It's just a matter of throwing in pictures.
oh, okay.
I had already put on the pages,
Yeah.
backgrounds and little elements that
Yeah.
were Alaska oriented. So it was just a matter. I had already done the decorating
Yeah.
part, so it's just a matter of throwing some pictures on there. But I do think that you don't need as much as we have. My problem is that I love the stuff. I love
Yeah, I
paper.
know. It's
I
so
love
quick
anything
to
that's paper.
accumulate things. And I'm actually surprised that you can do with limited things because when we went back, some of you don't know this, but I have a place in Mexico that we go back to 6 months out of the year. So I have a whole craft studio there as well, but things are tucked away and not in the open. So when I first got there and I needed to, create, I only had very limited supplies. And for people that to get started in either junk journaling or collage, you really don't need a whole lot.
You do not.
So, you don't have to invest a ton of money and just use what you have. Use magazines, get a glue stick, get some scissors.
Use an old book.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be any special book. If you just want text, just use a paperback novel. It has writing, it has text. That's all you
And
need.
I've seen people use, I think, is it, who used, oh, I think it's Mish Crafty. She does hers in a book. Like
Yes,
she's,
an altered book. I think she
yeah.
altered. Well, it was a moleskin. I think it
Oh,
was a
yeah, it was a
moleskin.
moleskin. Yeah.
But and that may be what I do next year if I do the 52-week collages next year.
That was another question. Are you going to do it next year?
I don't know. I don't know.
Are you going to commit to the whole year? Just do a few here and
I
there.
want to. Now, this is me. This is just me. If I say I'm going to do it, I have to do every week.
I know. That's why I'm still doing
I
it.
feel like I'm leaving something out if I don't do it every week. So that's why it's hard for me to decide because I want to, but do I want to do it every week? I don't know that I do. It's hard. It's
It
really
it
hard.
is hard. It
And and I won't ever go back. I won't ever go back. And so when I did the Rolodex, it wasn't as crucial if I didn't do one because it's not a book. It is individuals. So if they get out of order, no big deal. If there's a blank one, you don't know that because I don't put the blank ones in there. So,
uh-huh.
but in a book, if you don't do every page, then there's a blank page. Do I want a blank page? I don't want a blank page.
So that's why I like, let me add my camera.
Okay.
Hang on.
The mixed media. Yeah.
So this is why I like to do this one, because I can, if something doesn't work out or whatever, I can rip this out.
You can take it out. Yes. Yes.
This was a fun one. I never had heard of this gal before.
I love the airplane.
Ruth Reinhold is her name. And she was like the Amelia Earhart of Arizona.
Ah, how fun.
Yeah. So there was a whole story about her. This video is kind of fun to watch and see the history. So I'll link that one below.
Yes, I remember this one. I liked that one a lot. And this collage actually inspired me to do one that had some history behind it. And I kept, just like you did, I kept the information and put it on the other page because I thought, how cool is that?
Yeah. So
you inspired me to do that. I didn't.
Oh, that's great.
So yeah, so I think that I'm going to do them. And if I do, then I have a altered book that I'm going to do them in, which is about the size of a Reader's Digest.
Okay.
And so, it's where you pull out the pages, you pull out 10 pages and you glue 2 together, and you pull out 10 pages and you glue 2 together. Now, when I do this, just like this is my little journal that I did this year. I make sure there's only 52 pages in there.
Okay.
So I have no room for error. and I have something out of order in here because I skipped a page and didn't mean to.
Oh gosh.
Taking the prompt, and I missed a page, so I had to go back and so oh well. I even put the prompts, and I did get it fixed. I put the wrong prompts with the collage. It's like, where was I? What was I thinking?
So the video you posted today was week 47. And that was your first one that you did actually while you created in process. Yes. And I have to say, I really enjoyed that. And and I hope that you do it that way again.
That is my plan, and I will do all of them that way next year. I hope.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, the only other one that I did on camera, well, I have a video that's waiting because I don't know when to post it, because I did another of Barbie's at Nellie Ruth in a design, the crossword puzzle. But it was Halloween. It's been sitting on my desk for a month, and I just couldn't make it work. And finally I made it work, but it's a Halloween, so I hadn't posted it yet because it's fixing to be Thanksgiving. But I think I'm just going to post it. That I did in process video.
Oh, good. Okay.
And I did the first one. Well, I've done a couple of those that were in process. So I'm trying to get used to doing that. I'm not comfortable doing that, but I want to get comfortable. I've done some tutorials, and I'm comfortable doing that because I don't know. I know what I'm going to do. Yeah. And I do pre-plan. So it's not like I couldn't, but sometimes I think, and as I'm talking now, and I'm talking a lot, you probably go, she has plenty to say, but I feel like I won't have anything to say if I'm doing the process, but we'll go with it.
It is hard sometimes, when you're trying to concentrate, but you also want to be, somewhat entertaining to people and not have dead air to come up with something to say. So, and, like we were talking before, you don't want to overshare too much, but that's why I like to tell little bits and pieces of like things when I was a kid. So
yes, and just like in that video that you saw today, and I appreciate you commenting that you thought that was good. That gives me encouragement to keep doing that. But like in that, I talked about a trip to New York, that because it doesn't snow here in Georgia very often, and that was the one and only time I remember it snowing in December. So I like
to hear that kind of stuff for sure.
Yeah. I like to put a little tidbits like that. And like last year, I didn't do it on process, but there was a collage that I used a picture of both of my parents in, because the prompts worked out really well, because my mother was a seamstress and my dad was a carpenter. And as a matter of fact, I have to say, in this, because this desk behind me, well, I'm going to move this way. See this desk behind me right here? Right here? My dad made that.
Oh, how sweet is that?
Yeah, and then you can't see it, but on the wall back there somewhere, I have a well, you can see it to that side.
Yeah.
That on the wall right there. That's the plan that he drew for this desk behind me.
Oh, how sweet.
He had it in the drawer. And then the three tools hanging on the wall were his, except the yardstick was not his, but I have that on there because our last name is on that. Oh. And that came from a friend in South Georgia that found it in her parents' attic, and she says, "You need this because it has your last name on it."
Oh, that's great.
It's from a fabric company that their last name was our last name, so I had to have that on there. But the other two, the level and the T-square, was my dad's, so I have those up there too.
So, out of the Margarete Miller challenge for 2023, do you have a favorite one that you did, and can you show that?
I can, and I actually have several. I have 4, 5, and I went through and looked and didn't mark the ones that I liked the best, and then I asked my husband to look through and for him to actually mark the ones he liked the best. He liked the same ones I did, so I thought that was kind of interesting. But this is one of the ones I like a lot. Let's see if I can figure out how to get up there. This is one I like a lot. That's and I found that I like the ones that are like this, that are not a full picture. It's just elements put together.
Very nice.
And in my journal here, that those were the ones I liked the best. Like this one right here too. And this one was fun. This one was a fun one.
Oh, the M&M one. I did like that one.
Yes. And I like that. And this piece right here is a true vintage. It's from 1937, I think it was. But then I've got the Dove chocolate up here. And I
mean, that was early on, wasn't it?
That was early. Yeah, this is week 13. Yeah. Now, I did do a couple of surreal, and this is probably my very favorite. My very favorite. Because I love this image. I love this image of these children.
That's so good.
Fun. Which is from a children's book, and it's a vintage children's book. So that's probably my very favorite. It just has a nostalgic flavor about it.
Great image.
So that's the ones I seem to like best. Oh, here's the one. It wasn't last year. It was this year. This is the one with my parents in it.
Oh, okay.
Which I like that too. So I have the sewing machine. So this is
beautiful people.
Thank you. This is for my mom, the sewing machine, and then my dad also built houses. So that's a house plan thing.
So that desk was a breeze for him.
Yeah, he had a cabinet shop our whole entire life. That's what he did for a living, was build cabinets and install them. So that is so that's some of the ones that I like. I seem to like those that rather than a picture, like from a children's book, which I do often, I seem to, when I go back and look, I seem to like the ones that are artistically placed pieces that don't necessarily go together, but they look good together.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought that was interesting. For myself, I thought that was an interesting idea. And I did a couple. I know you and Barbie at Nellie and Ruth Designs do more surreal, and I have a few in here, but that is, my brain does not naturally go that way. So,
well, you know what? It's so good that all of our brains don't work the same, because it'd be awfully boring.
That's funny you say that, because I have a friend that says that all the time when we are talking about something that's different between us. She goes, "Well, it's a good thing everybody's not the same. It'd be a boring world," and it's true. So there you go.
I just want to thank you for joining me, and I so appreciate you, and your channel is very fun. I will link that below. And if you are not subscribed to Pam at Tattered Paper and Lace, please do, because you will enjoy it. And Yeah. So thank you again.
And hopefully you'll enjoy it even more if I do the process online, right?
Yes. Yeah, I think people
I'm
really
going
will.
to do that. I've made the commitment that I'm going to do that, and I think I will do next year's, but we'll see. I may not. I may just, if I do it, I may not do it in a book. I may just do it so that I can then bind the book together, and it'll be what it is.
Well, it's going to be fun to see where it goes.
Yes,
So
it is.
thank you
Thank you.
again.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it so much, and I really do appreciate your efforts that you have put forth to introduce other YouTubers, because you've got your list of all the people that you could find that's doing the Margarete Miller.
Yes, I do it. I have a playlist, and
And
you
I
can get
think
a sample of
that's
people.
marvelous. And then you're doing this with different people. I think that's a marvelous thing. I appreciate
Yeah,
it
it's
so
so
much. And
fun.
I also don't know if I got you told good enough. Thank you for, you mentioned me early on when you first started. You mentioned my channel, and I really do appreciate that. And Barbie has done the same.
Yes.
I have gotten, I have, it's like every day I have a few more subscribers. So that's exciting to
Oh,
me.
that's exciting. I wish I could say that. It
And I
doesn't
think
feel good.
it's from you guys helping out. So come to my channel and let me know things you'd like for me to do, and I'll do my best.
Awesome. Okay. Well, I'll see you soon.
All right. Thank you.
All
Talk to
right.
you later. Bye.
Bye.